Hey everyone, my name is fateful and welcome back to Reverse 1999 for a character event story of the Chronicles of Uluru London Dawning. Now we are going to be doing Shadow of the Sun, which is talks about Willow's, I guess, reason for being a competitor and what kind of tragedy that took a piece of her and made her into a broken human being that many people gave her ugly looks, or at least insults, creating rumors, and decides to seclude herself, or became a recluse inside her own home. Now, what is the worth of gold, or a metal's weight? Our aspirations soar far higher than this, yet so often they are shackled by such constraints. Now, I believe we're going to get inside in depth with her in her days of being an uluru competitor. And while in the middle of that, we might know what kind of tragedy took her leg. And the amount of stress, the amount of hurt she's going to go through because she has a prosthetic. And I know for sure you can relate to this. Many of you who are watching this video will eventually relate to it because you know someone, or at least you have someone that you have high praise in the sports events, or any kind of sport, would be affected by it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. So we're going to do the entire thing. And of course there's going to be a survey, which means I'm just doing testing out her abilities. That's how you're going to test out your character's abilities. And somehow, when this is over, I believe Flutter Page might come up next. So let's go ahead and enter this event story. Alright, so again, it's always going to be 8. And look at these names of these stages, like Slithering Snails, Lubricant, Fallen Swan, Flickering Candlelight, Phone Call, Echoing Knocks, That's Gotta Be Flutter Page, maybe Podium, and Goodbye Friend. Now, this is going to be sad for me as well because she has to wear this while practicing this. And yeah, like I said, if you know anyone who is affected by this, and even if they're an athlete, give them some love, praise, maybe even some good attentions, or maybe even something to make them feel better. You know, they need a friend right now. So let's go ahead and start with stage 1. Slithering Snails.
Everything all right?
No.
No, not really. My leg's still painful. I probably overdid it when I was stretching.
No excuses.
Charlotte, I'm giving you 5 more minutes to warm up. 5 minutes?
If you want.
I could send you off on a permanent break. A smirk appears on the young girl's face. She could hold her feelings back no longer. I followed the choreography to the letter. Why?
Why?
Yeah, if you'd done that, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now, would we? Don't cry. Come on then, Charlotte, speak up. What is it? Can't cut your tongue or what?
Your pathetic pride?
I
don't want to hear any excuses.
Right, she waves her hand impatiently.
Again. Don't let me think you're a failure now, Charlotte.
I'm not sure if I could assume that this coach is her mother. I'm not sure. Or just some random coach. She turns on the wire recorder, and the music pierces Charlotte's eardrums. The young floor ritualist takes a deep breath. When she lifts her head, a smile is plastered on her face. The music plays on. Raise your hand! She grabs her wrist and lifts it higher. Kick! With range, I say! She points her toes as she extends her leg to capacity.
Good.
An objective and a fair assessment. She feels a bit relaxed and proceeds to the next move. the most crucial step of any floor ritual routine. The performer must integrate their understanding of Arcanum into their performance, unifying body, mind, emotion, and arcane skill. For competitors, this is also the most challenging part.
Wrong. Where's your arcane skill? Stop!
Wow, she turns off the wire recorder, bringing the practice to an immediate halt. She casts an ice-cold glare in the girl's direction. You forgot the routine again, Charlotte! I didn't! Really now? Then why didn't you connect with the elements? Why would you hesitate at the most important part of the whole bloody thing? This element is worth at least 1.2 points. Do you understand what that means? 1.2 points could be the difference between first and fourth. She lets out a deep sigh. Ugh. You're a failure, Charlotte. I can't tell how disappointed I am in you. Oh man, it's hard to sound really mad while trying to read this, I'm just exhausted right now. I've worked early in the morning, guys, during work, so I'm just doing this out of hobby. But everything else is up to then was perfect. My last coach told me my movements were the most standard she'd seen. The coach sneers. So where are you going to find those 1.2 points you just lost? In your old coach's mouth? You listen to me now, girlie. The competition rules don't bend to accommodate little girls who can't use their arcane skills.
Don't get cocky, Charlotte.
I've seen my fair share of floor ritualists in my time, and your arcane skills are by far the least impressive.
Think about it.
You need to have a long, hard think about what happened here today. She murmurs this as if she's almost speaking to herself, then sighs and leaves the training room.
I'm not a failure.
The coach is trying too hard here, you know? I mean, she is a child. And that must have been a flashback, I believe. A terrible nightmare. She grits her teeth in the dim light of her bedroom. The clock on the wall inches towards 7 o'clock. It's almost time for her appointment. She slides her legs off the edge of the bed and attaches her prosthetic limb. Her stump is always slightly swollen due to the constant and prolonged pressure of her artificial appendage. As she moves, its creaking echoes through the otherwise silent room.
Bloody hell.
Just perfect timing. She hastily fastens the leather strap of her prosthetic leg. As she stands, her poor fastening comes loose, causing her to fall heavily to the ground. Miss Willow, I heard a loud bang just now. Have you taken a tumble? A young voice echoes from the other side of the door. That must be Flutterpage. Miss Willow, could you open the door for me? One of the snails is about to crawl out of my hand. Oh, have a feckin' laugh, why don't you? She hops over to the door and opens it with a sullen expression on her face. Her prosthetic is left lying on the floor. Is she trying to hop? Maybe. Here you go. Miss Willow, your snails for the week. Okay. Is she trying to look out for anywhere else? Yeah, it is. You alright?
Mind your own business, will you?
Give me the snails. Flutterpage blinks, then holds the jar of snails up to Willow. Hurry on to the letterbox and pick up your reward for the week. Could you give me a Huh? Could you give me a different reward this week, Miss Willow? What?
I'm thinking.
For my reward, could you tell me what you do at home all day? Blah. Thompson says there are strange noises coming from this house every day, like 100 frogs croaking at the same time. Is that your arcane skill? Why is your arcane skill like that? Miss Willow, can you tell me how I can...
Get out of my garden!
But...
Aw, don't scare her.
Did you hear me? I said...
Wow. I think this is when... Yeah, I'm not going to yell this one because it is going to pick up my the mic. Before she even finishes her exclamation, she has already slammed the door shut. You see how my narration always takes about 10 minutes long? Maybe. Alright. And I believe coming after snails comes lubricant. As the door closes, her solitary leg can no longer bear the weight of her body, and she falls to the ground in disgrace. She reaches for her prosthetic leg and closes the metal clasps around her stump. And at least now she looks like an ordinary person. Alright, let's take a look at these snails. These footless little things. Or I suppose their entire body is a foot. That's why they're called gastropods. Anyway, the swelling in my leg has gone down since I started using their mucus as lubricant. One by one, she places the snails on the table, arranging them neatly side by side. As they crawl forward, they leave a trail of shiny mucus. Good, just like that. Keep it up now. Am I allowed to whisper? Okay, take a look at these snails. Is she like... She lines them up extremely like in a line and like they're going to do a race across the table. Hey guys, if you're going to do... And I just recently read a freaking Webtoon comic that talks about how an elf principal of an academy wastes her, or at least gambles, or at least invests in a snail race. Giant snails, mind you. And they try to slowly climb up on the tree. Can you imagine that if you're going to bet on a snail? They're going to try to slowly and surely try to reach all the way to the top of the tree or across the table. I just had that thought. Where was I? She closely monitors the snails as they make their way across the table, and its surface starts to shine with mucus. You're falling behind, number 3. Oh god, is she watching a race? I mean, she is going to gather the mucus one way or another. The third snail has curled up inside its shell. Number 5 is gaining speed, overtaking number 1, but victory is still far off. Oh my gosh! She is literally hosting a snail race. And this is her entertainment, and she's getting lubricant from the snail mucus. The 5th snail extends its body, slowly overtaking snail number 1.
Bloody hell.
Honestly, number 8, don't you know the rules? You can't climb on top of number 5. There it is right there. The 2 snails roll into a ball and fall off the edge of the table. Oh, there they go. I'm afraid you're both disqualified. Oh god, she is hosting the race. Number 7 has crawled the farthest, but Willow says nothing. She simply looks down at it with a strange coldness in her eyes. She waits until it reaches the other end of the table. If this were a real race, the timer would end now. Allow me to announce the results. The winner is number 1. She declares the result, a hint of bitterness in her voice. But unfortunately, this isn't a real race. There'll be no gold medal waiting for you at the finish line. I simply need as much mucus as possible. That's the only purpose of this. She gathers the snails and tosses them into a jar before deftly collecting the mucus from the table. Snail mucus, swift saliva, and a few catalysts. The translucent ointment in the crucible is smooth and docile. Willow scoops some of it up with a spatula. It catches the light through the window, scintillating with a charming luster. A fine, semi-finished salve. All it needs now is a cooling incantation. Howling winds of winter. Well, I don't know what language she uses to translate that, to be honest. I know it's Irish or Celtic, but I don't know Celtic, so I apologize. The ointment solidifies, becoming a pale yellow. As usual, she removes her prosthetic and applies the lubricant onto the joints. She moves it around, ensuring that it no longer creaks. I suppose that'll do. She fits the prosthetic once again and hops with a feigned lightness, the metal limb clanking on the floor as she does so. She lifts her good leg, using the prosthetic for support.
Hey,
You hear that? It's coming from the Hog's house. Children's voices seep in from outside. I wonder what kind of curse she's cooking up now. My uncle told me to watch out for the Irish witches. They have big red eyes and webbed toes like a frog's. Have you ever seen her feet, Thompson? No. Would you not want to see? I'm not going to say the question. Why would you say this? Ugh, boring. The hag is far too busy to pay attention to these voices. She is attempting a complex floor ritual element. If executed perfectly, she would gain an additional 0.6 points in a competition. She tilts her body downward, lifting her steel limb high into the air, then presses down. Meanwhile, the argument outside intensifies.
I see.
One of her feet makes a sound like a croaking frog. Ribbit ribbit. Actually, it's just like the sound coming from her house right now.
What?
Even after lubrication, her prosthetic skill makes a harsh scraping sound. Willow presses down with all her might until her spine and the steel groan together. Not enough. This is just the weight of the metal, not my own strength. She grits her teeth and presses her leg down lower. As her body extends, the metal prosthetic screeches louder. She loses her balance and falls to the floor once again. Perhaps she's caught someone. She's probably throwing them in her cauldron as we speak. We have to go rescue them. What should we do? Fetch some grown-ups? Grown-ups are all a bunch of chickens. They'll just tell us to stay away. No, it's down to us, Albert. We have to go save whoever the hag has caught before it's too late. Grab some stones. Oh, they're gonna stone her house. Really? The sound of hurried footsteps echoes through the garden. You're serious? A stone smashes through the window and hits the floor where Willow's near Willow's feet. You wicked old hag! Come out and catch me if you can!
Bloody hell.
Yeah, she is not having this today, and they're still throwing stones. Another stone and another crash of breaking glass. Skeevy little devils. Ignoring the pain in her limb, she goes to the window and to yell at them. Get away with you! Yeah.
Whoa!
It's the hag! There it is again. Another wailing child. Shut your mouth! And I can't speak Celtic. Miraculously, the crying actually ceases. All of you! Get the bloody hell out of my garden! Yeah. Never mess with a woman's garden. Either being a hag or not. Eh? I guess we're gonna be... Really? Hang on. Wait, I didn't read that. Bothersome little pests. We need a spell to strengthen the critters in the garden. That should send the blighters packing. Each of these critters has its own unique characteristics. Make the most of them to wear the children down. Alright. It literally says, do your best and hold out for 5 rounds? Okay. So these are different ones, so let me see. Transform at the end of the round. Transform the target critter into a random critter. What's this one? Empower. Okay. So we could probably do you.
Oh, I call
and you.
heed my prayer.
And yeah. Okay, so I am literally just making some random spells here. And they're just throwing rocks at me.
Oh, I call upon you. Splendid.
Really?
Just grand. Get away.
Really? Alright, I'm buffing me already.
Get away. Just grand. Get away. Heed my prayer. Oh, I call upon you. Bloody hell. light the bonfire. I remember. Oh, I call upon you. Splendid. Just grand. Heed my prayer. Oh, I call upon you. Just grand. Just grand. You're not half bad.
I just forgot that I muted my mic for no fucking reason. Alright, this is the Uluru Games thing. Although an imitation, it is indeed a gold medal.
Hey!
Give back my gold medal! Flames have been cruelly carved upon its surface. Where did you get this from? Why should I tell you? The child presses his lips tightly shut, a determined look in his eyes. Tell me. That's a souvenir from the Uluru Games. Sister Martha gave it to us. She said it would bring us good luck. Martha? Thompson! That's everything I know. Can you let us go now? The hag gives a mucky sneer. Is that so? So the medal did bring you good luck after all. Go on, take it. Take it and...
Get out!
Yeah, pretty much. I wonder if I... Bring her back. Okay, so half of that battle kinda... I'm not sure why, but I think I accidentally pressed the mute button on my mic halfway through the battle here, and I was talking. So, I guess we're on stage 3 to the Fallen Swan. Let me see if I can mic again. There we go. The farce has come to an end. The sparse vegetation in her garden has been left in disarray by the incident. The purple potato flowers lie scattered upon the soil.
Nice.
Nice. It's spud season again. Charlotte, I've made ye smash tatties for breakfast today, with plenty of sweet cream, your favorite. Coach says I can't eat this anymore. Floor ritualists need to keep the figures trim. She says that if I want to win the gold, I need to... Charlotte, nah, they've got ye worried about your eating too. I know you're a good little thing. And you like your floor ritual very much, but with all that training you do, with all this growing you've got to do, you have to eat properly. Otherwise, you'll wither away later nothing. Just take one bite, eh? How about it? One bite. She is very happy. I guess her grandmother was her one happiness in her life, I guess. What did you have for breakfast? Her eyes are fixed on the small clump of mashed potatoes left hanging on the girl's chest. Creamy mashed potatoes? Before the girl can react, she explodes. Oh, great. How many times have I told you, if you want results, you can't eat rubbish like this? I was just trying to get a little energy. They both know this is just an excuse. The uluru qualifiers are in 3 days, Charlotte. Did you forget that little fact? Or do you think that pathetic speck of talent of yours gives you the right to get complacent, eh? If that's what you think, then let me tell you now, Charlotte. A cruel smile spreads across her face. What are you planning to do?
What a waste of space you are.
There'll be no shortage of talent at the qualifiers.
Why?
I know I shouldn't have done it, but you don't need to humiliate me like this. Humiliates you? She gives a sharp, cruel laugh. You're right. I don't need to humiliate you, because the moment you walk out on that floor beside real athletes, you'll have already done it to yourself. Go ahead, I won't stop you. She is casual in the face of this cruel remark. Go ahead and eat your creamy mashed potatoes if you love them so much. Oh, and Her Majesty needs her beauty sleep too. Why not go ahead and cancel your morning training? In fact, why not take the whole day off? Sports are just too exhausting, I know. Not only do you have to put up with your aching muscles, but you have to watch what you eat and deal with your bossy old coach. After all, you're Lady Charlotte, a fine noble woman. How could a noble be asked to sweat on the red land of Uluru? She should be sitting in the audience, yes? In the audience with a parasol and a cool drink, no? I shan't waste my energy on you any longer. She turns and exits the training ground without a backward glance. Oh, let her blow off some steam. Charlotte slowly clenches her fists.
Beck!
Oh. I'm not! Oh, don't you take her words literally. She's just being a... I don't want to say it. She punches the wall, and the pain from her knuckles fills her with bitterness. I am not Lady Charlotte! She grits her teeth as her sinuses sting. She holds back her emotions, not letting the tears flow from her eyes. I will win that gold medal. She presses her leg hard against the wall, her whole body bending into a gentle curve. She begins the routine she had practiced 1,000 times before, but this time, alone in the room, her body traces arcs in the air as she leaps and lands through each element. 0.2, 0.5, 0.3, 0.7, 0.4. She silently records the score of each element as she goes. Next comes the most important part, the arcane skills segment. She closes her eyes. Invisible energy flows through the air.
Eye of day, keeper of balance. You are the endless well, healing solace, shining solace, holy solace. To us you tell.
A faint glow appears before her eyes.
You warm our souls, heal our wounds, and grant us endless peace.
The light is as warm as spring. She reaches out her hand for it. If only I could touch the hem of your garment, that flowing, loving radiance.
Did I do something wrong?
Why can't I see your radiance? The energy still flows beside her, stirring her hair and softly ruffling the feathers on her leotard.
Why?
Can't I see you? Why do you reject me? How can I win your favor? In the endless darkness, her voice is the only echo.
I'll do anything.
Give you anything. Just please, let me win that gold medal. The voice shouldn't be here. She opens her eyes, startled. What are you? I came to get the wire recorder. The wire recorder? But the wire recorder is for everyone to use. It's always in the training room. She's never seen anyone take it out of here before. Charlotte, the cruelty of competitive sports is that even if you give everything, you are fairly likely to end up with nothing in return. That is true. She continues, half speaking to herself. I thought you'd understand this, but no, you're just a ridiculous, foolish little girl. Think about those who came before you. Cyrus, for example. Everyone thought she'd win the games hands down, even her competitors. But in the end, she injured herself before she could compete. She never even saw uluru for herself, only heard those 3 haunting syllables repeated by everyone around her. Of course, you know better than I what happened to her after that. She jumped off London Bridge. Oh my god.
What makes you think you won't be the next?
That you won't end up like her.
On your feet.
She comes back to train her again. She wanted to see that resolve. An unexpected command. The last element you just performed. Do it again. The qualifiers are just around the corner, and you're still jumping like that? If you aren't able to bring forth your arcane skill, you absolutely cannot afford to make a single mistake in the rest of your routine. Well, I guess she got aspired to culture again. Maybe. Okay. And back to a flickering candlelight. It looks like we're at the qualifiers. The day of the qualifiers is met with unfavorable weather, as a faint haze lingers in the air. Everyone agrees that today is not a good day for rituals. A familiar voice speaks beside her. These are only the qualifiers, so I don't expect you to set a world record or anything. Just perform decently well, and you'll be sure to make it through to the next round. As long as you feel her on the floor, you'll be able to complete all the elements. Understand? And nods. The girl is too focused to speak. She gives a simple, vigorous nod. Alright, go on then. Believe in yourself. A warm hand pats her shoulder as she steps onto the floor. As the music starts, the darkest 5 minutes of her youth begin.
Oh!
Congratulations, Caroline, on your victory on the floor. Thank you. So this is young Caroline Bartley. Their voices are vague and distant, yet she cannot divert her attention from them. I must say, when I learned that Charlotte O'Hagan would be participating, I didn't expect to win first place, since we all know she's a world-class 4 ritualist. Expectations. Charlotte O'Hagan has finished in 8th, meaning she'll most likely miss the finals. Floor ritual has always had its roots in Arcanum. If she's only here to compete for technical points, why doesn't she compete in another event?
Beck!
I beg to differ. Charlotte is an outstanding player.
If you had observed her performance closely, you wouldn't be making light of her efforts.
But
she made a huge mistake. She didn't even complete the ritual segment of her routine. There was a critical failure in her disability of her ritual. Didn't you see? The clouds she summoned poured rain all over the judges' heads. There was a scattered laughter throughout the venue.
Sorry, sir.
I will no longer answer any questions regarding Charlotte O'Hagan. I'm afraid your understanding of sportsmanship leaves much to be desired. Footsteps approach from behind her. What's on your mind, girl? A brief silence ensues. Nothing. I want to go home. She starts to lift herself up from her chair when the pair of hands presses her firmly back down.
Are you a coward?
Of course not.
Then why is she crying? Don't be crying. I don't like when children cry. I don't.
I don't want to be a coward.
Yeah, that's the reality of competitive sports. She bows her head deeply, her tears forming little puddles on the backs of her hands.
But does it matter what I want?
Will wanting to win a gold medal make it sprout wings and fly around my neck?
I can't control my arcane skill.
No matter how strong I will it, the ritual energies won't heed my call. They just turned into wet clouds, and all I could do was stand there and watch them fly towards the judges' head seats.
Maybe I'm not cut out for this sport.
Maybe it's just like that reporter said, and I shouldn't even be here. Listen, Charlotte. The coach's voice pulls her back to reality. No one said you shouldn't be here. Do you know why you aren't able to perform the ritual?
Why?
Good question. Because you care too much about your score. But come with me. And I hear the door of my room, and my dog is right beside me. Hey, buddy, what are you checking up on me for? Right. The green garden is lush with thriving plants and blooming flowers. Energy flows constantly through the air around us. You have to think of it as a friend dancing along with you. After all, who would want to dance with an imaginary enemy? Close your eyes. This isn't Uluru. The first thing you need to do is forget about the scoring rules. Recite your prayer.
Eye of Day, Keeper of Balance. You are the endless well.
Go on.
Don't worry about your pronunciation of delivery. Just imagine you're talking to an old friend.
Healing Sulis, Shining Sulis, Holy Sulis. To us, you tell.
She raises her right hand high in the air.
Feel her.
Feel her breath. Feel her energy. Feel all that she brings to you. Feel that primitive rhythm and flow. I can't read that fast, damn it! I was trying to read this. Your emotions, that psychedelic rainbow of colors. There we go. Something's lifted my hand.
Flames are their dance, and wind their breath. Through wind and fire are we born, and by the rain are we swaddled. Warmth and light they bring, so why fear, pause, or stand by?
She chants, her voice aligned with some magnificent and ancient rhythm, and from the tips of her toes, 1,000 shadows bloom like flowers.
Dance, Charlotte.
Take my hand and dance. She reaches out her hand in invitation. The flames are their steps, and wind their breath. She follows the movements, each step sinking into a rhythm. Wind, fire, rain. I am not afraid. She claps her cheek in shock. What is it?
Something kissed me.
Aww.
Keep dancing.
The woman releases her hand comfortably. You've already got a much better dance partner. Don't think too much. Just let her lead you. The girl closes her eyes, raising her hand high in an ancient ritual.
It's a road destined to be lonely.
Have you made up your mind?
Have you made up your mind?
I was gonna read that, but oh well. Her voice is quiet, so quiet that it quickly swallowed by the wind.
Healing Sulis, Shining Sulis, Holy Sulis. To us, you tell.
She arranges the catalysts in the dark of the room. My best friend, Sulis. She follows the guidance of an unseen force, her body gracefully flowing from one motion to the next. The candles surrounding her flicker, and the sound of distant wind rattles through the room. What's going on with Charlotte these days? She must be feeling pretty down right now, with all her practicing for the competition and all. She hasn't played with us for ages, and her coach is just horrible. Caroline told me her qualified results were rather poor. My mom says that when a friend feels sad, you should try to make them feel better. We should do something nice for her. I'm really worried she'll end up like Saoirse. Hey, what'd you hit me for? Stop talking rubbish. The conversation outside continues, but Charlotte doesn't have the time to care. She feels Sulis's invitation to a realm beyond reality. In her trance, she sees a shiny blades of grass and gem-like flowers blooming in the distance. Golden flames burn in the sky, and the sun melting into the mountaintop.
Blue, reborn from dark's embrace, I walk your path in sacred space. Life's end is death, but bones to life ascend.
And there was a knock on the door. Like on my door, there's my dog coming in again. Charlotte, are you in? The ground trembles slightly. She looks at the distant golden light and feels something gently stinging her ankle. Again. Charlotte! Charlotte! The ground beneath her shakes violently. The shiny blades of grass biting hard at her toes. She squats down in pain, watching bruises spread beneath her toenails.
Why?
What's wrong, Sulis? That was Charlotte's voice. She's in there. The ground trembles still. She frowns impatiently, waving away the flies buzzing around her ears. They're making her irritable. Charlotte, open the door. We're worried about you. The sky is dense with white clouds and the ground is oozing blood. Her feet are stricken with sharp pain. Enough! Stop bothering me! The shiny grass fades, and she pulls the door open. And again, we gotta hold out for 6 rounds this time. Oh great, we gotta deal with the children again. Charlotte, are you alright? Open the door, please. Come on, open the door. We're worried about you. Go away! Stop pestering me. Alright, so let's buff you.
Heed my prayer.
Or you.
Oh, I call upon you.
What is this? I guess we'll go with you. Silence you. I need to evolve you guys. Oh wait, I need a counter. I need to counter you. I'm gonna debuff you.
Heed my prayer.
Excuse me? Oh, I think I screwed up here. Ow! Arse.
Light the bonfire. I call upon you.
You're kidding. You're kidding me! Okay, I just got back here on the whatever needs to be round 5 here. And I have to keep up my counter, so these guys won't even hit me, in all honesty. So I'm gonna keep on buffing myself with invisibility, and they each get counters. Maybe. And they died, one of them dead. Alright, one more round, I believe. Yeah, they're both maxed out already, so I'm gonna counter again, and buff myself again. Really? Ow. And it scares her off. And you died. And I won.
Half bad.
Take that, you little shits. Sorry. I guess it's the children scaring her off. I never want to see you again. It's the hag's curse. Ah! Did they really call her a hag as a child? Having driven away her old friends, the girl goes back inside.
Healing Sulis, shining Sulis, holy Sulis. To us, you tell.
She stands in the center of the house, taking a deep breath, a faint smile on her face.
My friend. My only friend. Sulis.
Yeah, hard training. The reality of I guess sports competition expectations and one failure. She had to like change her entire routine. She had to like get rid of whatever held her back, her old friends, and somewhat maybe, I don't know. And if she's rather hated, she would rather be hated rather than be a disgrace. So a phone call. Onto that. The phone rings. Hello? Charlotte, have you seen the results of the Foundation's latest evaluation? The caution in Caroline's tone always knows her. If you got something to say, just say it. I'm not as fragile as you think. Good Lord, I hate the way you beat around the bush. Just spit it out, will you? There's a deep sigh from the other end of the line. Charlotte, you might not be able to go to Uluru. That's impossible. After the Foundation's evaluation, they still concluded that, well, that is unfair. Bollocks. I have one less leg than the rest of you, don't I? I'm a bloody cripple, for crying out loud. How could they possibly think I have an advantage? If they're afraid of competing with me because of this leg, then there's no need to compete with them at all. No. She struggles to utter the subsequent words. Of course, judging only on past achievements, no one is more qualified than you to participate. But the committee unanimously agrees that if you compete against able-bodied athletes, it would be unfair to you, Charlotte.
What? So barring disabled people from competing is more fair? I can still stand, can't I?
What right do they have to take this away from me? To strip me of my right to compete? I still remember what they'd said back then. Her habitual sneer makes an appearance. Floral ritual has always had its roost in Arcanum. If she's only here to compete for technical points, why doesn't she compete in another event? Well, I can hardly rely on technical points now, can I? How could they use such a pathetic excuse to bar me from competing? For what feels like an eternity, there's a dead silence between them.
I'm sorry, Charlotte.
Why are you apologizing?
I'll help you apply for the finals again. I'll do everything I can. I'm not an invalid. Anger bubbles forth. I can fight my own battles. I fought harder than on one leg than most to do with two. So you can save your sanctimonious pity for someone else. Or you want me to thank you? Is that it? How exactly should I express my gratitude for this magnanimous favor of yours, eh? Let me remind you, I won the gold medal back then, not you. Harsh words. Very harsh words.
I'm sorry, Charlotte.
The phone call ends. She grips the receiver tightly. Leave me alone. She hurls the phone before sweeping her arm across the table, sending a collection of items clattering to the floor. Why? Why? More objects fly around the room.
Bloody hell.
No matter how much noise she makes, there is no one to answer her questions. Her neighbors have long learned to ignore the strange noises from this particular residence. She screams and crashes around her house. It's the only means she has to expend her energy. Then her hand touches a small box. She halts and opens it with her pale, trembling hands. Inside, her medal lies quietly on its bed of velvet. there is a small dent in one side. And I always notice that there are some cracks and dents in this one. She remembers. How could she forget? I guess we're gonna find out what happens to her. Equinox. I'm getting thirsty. 1921. Come on now, don't be nervous. You can't do this. You could do this. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. It's the moment before the finals. The preparation room is filled with anxious voices.
Everything all right?
I'm fine, Coach. Sirius responded to my prayers again yesterday. And she looks at her intently. This time, she took me to the heart of the forest. The leaves there had spots all over them, like eyes. They were watching me, just like you are now, without blinking. I also heard a woman's voice. She was singing a slow song, something like... I can't quite remember the words. But I remember the rhythm. She jumps up and moves in time to do it.
Healing Sulis, shining Sulis, holy Sulis. To us, you tell.
Do you know it? The grass there sparkled. If I stayed too long on it, the little blades of grass would pinch me. All I could do was dance, and keep dancing. So I suppose witches weren't necessarily all burned at the stake. Maybe they just stepped on what kind of grass, you know? On that type of grass. She leaps high into the air and lands steadily. Every time I jump, my shadowless friend lifts me just like this. Energy flows around her, rustling her hair and leotard.
Keep dancing.
Just like this. If you make it to the end of this path, you'll snatch the sun right out of the sky. Don't be nervous, Charlotte. Just treat it like any ordinary practice session. Nervous? The girl looks at her palms to find a faint shimmer of sweat. I'm not nervous, Coach. She lifts her head and gazes at the sun shining in the distance. Ooh. I'm just yawning. Back from memories, huh? That shining golden sun. And behind it, those dark and boundless shadows. The doorbell interrupts her reminiscence. You've got the day wrong, girl. She hobbles to the door and opens it with force. Today isn't Snail Day. What are you doing here? The visitor before her comes as a surprise.
Charlotte?
I have some news I simply must tell you. You'll be utterly delighted to hear it, I'm sure. It's her old friend, Caroline, huh? What? The Foundation has decided that they'll let you participate in the competition as a special athlete. You can return to the floor again. She chatters on.
Get out!
Why?
Oh, you want to know why?
She sneers through gritted teeth.
What is that you want?
You wonder why I don't want to stroke your ego? To pump air into your already overinflated head?
You're just here to brag about your achievements. Then congratulations! You've done the job!
Are you satisfied, Caroline? I'm a cripple, a failure, not your competition, but the object of your pity. That's what you wanted, right?
I'd never thought of it that way.
She wants to argue, but in this moment, a word of comfort cuts sharper than any blade.
As if they'd invite me to perform in an exhibition. Like I'm some kind of monkey to be gawked at in a zoo. It's ridiculous. Do I have to tell you it all, Caroline? How awful my life has been all these years? How people hate me? How my body has failed me? Does it satisfy your ego? I don't want to see you ever again.
Charlotte?
Oh, come on. And you can see the plants are different now. She's trying to be there for you. Again, 7 rounds! You have got to be kidding me. It was hard enough to try to fend off in 6 rounds and 5 rounds, but 7? What is this? Hee. Don't go outside, Charlotte. You don't need or want their pity. Have you looked in the mirror lately? They still think you're in shape to compete? Shut your gulp! I don't want to hear another word out of you. So what are these? They're like, vile intent. Vile intents. Alright, so I guess I better evolve.
Heed my prayer.
Counter you. And buff, I guess. Alright, I need to evolve you. You need to be my shield. You can't hide from the world forever, Charlotte. Have you forgotten? What good is it what good is it saying all this now? No one can give me my leg back. No one can put me back out there on the floor. If that's truly how you feel, Charlotte, I hope you'll answer me a question that's plagued me for a while now. Every time I pass by here, I hear the sound of metal scraping. Could you tell me what that sound is? Don't you remember? You are the undisputed champion. Alright.
Oh, I call upon you.
Buff and counter.
Get away.
What?
Just ground.
Alright, you are gone. And you are gone. Oh, why? And what good would come to stepping out there? You're utterly powerless. They've got you on a string. No, even so, I refuse to give up. Alright, you are your inner demon. Yeah, I was right. She has this inner demon that she has to face either way.
Heed my prayer.
Alright, and counter and buff. I need that shield. Oi! Alright. Yeah, right here. Fine.
Oh, I call upon you.
Ow. Ow. Alright. Yeah. You're maxed. You need to be maxed. You need to be countered. And I need to heal. Hey!
Splendid.
Seriously?
Just splendid. Light the bonfire. I remember.
I guess he heals? I'm going good so far. Got the heal to them. Healing me. Okay. You're maxed, I can't really change you though. So I guess counter health and shield. It's my last round though. I survived good so far. Die. Through misty woods, on paths concealed by haze. He thrice died and thrice was born in ancient days. Guide me rightly that I may not stray. Children of the earth, come beside the oak and golden spring. In the land of Nimiton, receive wisdom and blessings. I hope I said it right. Good lord, she did it! She won! She's the champion!
You're not half bad.
I honestly didn't defeat my inner demon, but I guess we're good. A document falls to the ground. It bears the logo of the St. Pavlov Foundation. This is... She unfolds the document. Regarding the decision of the participation of Miss Charlotte O'Hagan, upon careful consideration and evaluation, we hereby consent to Miss Charlotte O'Hagan competing as a floor ritualist in the finals of the Uluru Games. What's the meaning of this? She looks at Caroline in disbelief.
Perhaps I didn't make myself clear, but you're an athlete, not a performer.
You won't be competing in an exhibition. Nothing has changed, Charlotte. Caroline holds Willow's trembling hands in her own.
I look forward to seeing you on the floor.
I guess Caroline's the only friend besides Flutterpage she only has. And you can tell how much she loves competing with her and seeing her performance. And I guess you could say that she wants to help her in every way to get that spirit that she once had before this incident that took her leg. I don't know if this is going to reveal of what the tragedy it was that took her leg again, but alright. Alright, we're in Uluru, I think. Yeah.
Congratulations, Charlotte O'Hagan!
The weight of the medal presses on her neck as camera bulbs flash all around her, leaving her in a little dazzled. Quick, snap a picture of the scar on her foot. Charlotte, congratulations on winning first place at the Uluru Games.
That's surprising.
You've smashed the record, making history as the youngest ever winner of Floor Ritual. What was the process like to get to this point? She lowers her head, examining the shiny gold medal hanging at her chest. I snatched the sun from the sky. The sun? The girl smiles and raises the gold medal. That's right. This is my son. Perfect angle. Real front page material. Charlotte, could you lift the medal a bit higher? The girl raises the medal higher. The camera flashes, making it shine even brighter. We plan on doing an exclusive interview next week. Hey Philip, haven't you hogged enough of her time? A reporter pushes his way toward Charlotte, his suit wrinkled from the jostling crowd. Finally! Alright, Charlotte, what's next for you? The girl is overwhelmed by questions and flashing lights. The cacophony has come to an end. Is that it? The medal rests heavily in her palm. I won. But now what? I'm still so young. Familiar footsteps approach. The stories we tell always end with winning the gold. No one talks about what you're supposed to do after you win that medal. After all, life goes on much longer than any story. But I did it. I got the gold. She argues fiercely on her own behalf.
I broke the record.
I beat Caroline. I'm the youngest champion ever. There's never been an 11-year-old champion in all history. So what?
My name will be in the newspapers.
Everyone will remember who I am. And at the next Uluru Games, they'll all be cheering my name. And then...
Your name will become a symbol.
A topic
at every dinner table conversation.
Sorry, yeah.
And as even you fall prey to the illusion of fame and the past, it will become your prison.
And sadly, that is also true when you consider this whole concept of fame and, fame of being the champion. And before long, you will have entirely forgotten who you thought you were.
We all die one day. But the floor ritual will carry on. It's the symbol itself. How could someone possibly defeat something abstract?
To read the lines if these long pauses keep on going on, I'm going to be interrupting people in their lines.
Today is the beginning of your tragedy.
Yeah, she probably knows something. She coldly announces her verdict.
When you look directly into the sun, you must always remember that it's also the source of shadow.
I've sacrificed so much for this. She clutches the gold medal tightly. I want to take the thumbnail here, in all honesty here.
I beat everyone to get it. The gold medal.
I woke up at the crack of dawn, trained until I could train no more, just for a chance. And now I've won.
And now...
Sorry. Do you think that I can't see the desire in their eyes when they see it? They all want this medal. She bites her lip and musters the courage to look her coach in the eye, the face before her ripples, trembling slightly. If this is the source of tragedy, then why do we long for it? Good question. As she lets out a cold sneer, her features become clearer.
It's the gold medal. That's
Herself.
why.
Wait, was the coach that talked... Was it always her? She's been talking to herself. It's precisely because it's a gold medal that you kept going, even if your feet were bleeding. You couldn't escape this self-inflicted sacrifice, because this is what you desired.
Isn't this the root of your tragedy?
No wonder the coach's voice was familiar, though. So why was the coach revealed to be Willow again? Maybe she was trying to look back into her past, talking to herself, maybe? Remembering everything? Right. The last chapter. After winning the gold medal, you gave interviews, featured in columns, and became renowned among arcanists. But so what? Mom, that's Charlotte's house. It's been so long since she...
Shh.
Don't you go saying her name. She's a witch, understand? A hag. It's written right there in her name. No one is willing to speak your name. No one even dares walk past your house. Your garden no longer blooms. Only weeds sprout from the mud and dirt. So then the war began. War? War? That's right. You haven't seen it yet, but you will. Years ago, war destroyed your hometown, and you moved with your family to a new land. On the surface, it seemed like a safe place. You believed what everyone said, firmly convinced that there would be no fighting there. Isn't that a good thing? I suppose you don't yet remember that day. That day? Yes, that day. By modern measures, that day was far from a good one. The air was heavy with the stench of gunpowder after the military dropped bomb after bomb in the area, leaving debris and dust in their wake. But luckily, your house was untouched, and you managed to survive the war. Then what? Look up. The girl looks up. There's a shiny golden sun before her. She gazes in disbelief, then rubs her eyes. How come I can see the sun in the training room? You saw a similar sun in the sky on that day too. That long-awaited peace seemed to finally be near. You hadn't heard the roaring of plains for a long while, and the desolate grasslands that started to show a hint of life. So on that stretch of scorched earth, you began to dance. Eye and day, keeper of balance, You are the endless well.
Healing Sulis, shining Sulis, holy Sulis. To us, you tell.
Do you remember the origins of the floor ritual? Of course I remember. Floor rituals originate from ancient rituals. The shamans danced to avert strife, to implore Sulis' grace. It was originally a dance for peace. So you thought at that time...
You saw the glorious sun.
The soil turning from lifeless to fertile, the tender green sprouts breaking through the earth.
That was the most successful dance of your life.
For the first time, Sulis responded to your prayers. No one had ever done that at the Uluru Games before. Not even you at your best.
You heard.
That sharp whistling for the first time. That sound that still haunts you in every nightmare. Like Arachne cursed to forever make her web. Soon, an incendiary bomb exploded beside you.
So you lost your leg.
As a result, it seems that in the end, the gods never favored you.
Poor girl.
Her
beliefs have become a joke.
If sacrificing everything yielded such results, it would be better if those so-called gods never even existed.
And it has caused you never-ending pain.
How can one who no longer believes in the gods ever receive their favor again? She sneers mockingly.
No.
It's not true. Sulis is my friend. You poor little thing. Look at that metal hanging around your neck. So that's how it looks damaged. The girl lifts the metal to find a small dent in it. Do you remember how this dent got here? This isn't my metal! My metal would never have a dent like this in it! After you lost your leg, you threw your metal away as hard as you could, cursing through tears that you'd never set eyes on it again. Unfortunately, your curse didn't work. So that's what happened. And look at this. Now we see her actual appearance here. She is speaking to her childhood self from her memories, I believe, or her dreams. So there was a war. And I guess she got caught up in a bombing. And she thought that maybe, that naive thought, she would dance. And hopefully the gods, whatever she prays to, would answer her calls to put an end to it. But luck wasn't in her favor. Bomb drops, explodes beside her. Boof, boom. Leg was blown. So that's how she lost a leg then. Hello, is there anyone there? Who is it? Miss Willow, I've got this week's snails. The voice is unfamiliar.
I'm here to say goodbye.
To her childhood. To her dreams.
Why?
My snails have arrived.
If I don't open the door, that little scamp will be kept waiting. A minute, 10 minutes, an hour. That girl's mind is a mystery. Who knows how long she'll wait?
I need to answer the door.
Will I see you again? If it were possible, I'd hope you never do. She shakes her head and reveals a helpless smile. But we will meet, Charlotte. Endings aren't always a matter of choice, nor can they be changed through the will alone. Now the time has come to say goodbye. Take good care of this metal, won't you? Don't take your anger out on it. She makes her way out of the room. Her movement is stiff and awkward, and her leg makes a strange scraping sound. As she walks, yet still, she holds her head neck high, like a black swan, gliding on the water. Just another day, Willow. And she is here again. Miss Willow, here are the snails for this week. The jar of snails is taken by a thin, gloved hand. Your payment's in the letterbox by the door. And thank you. Was that her first ever thank you? Yeah, that's her first ever thank you.
Wow.
Miss Willow, was it you said it just now? What was it you said just now? Did you say thank you? I ain't never heard you say that word before. Are you sure you're Miss Willow? You better take it as a compliment. That's all you're getting. She places the snails on the table as usual, their soft heads gently emerging from their shells. And the race is off again, and this time no one falls off. The weekly race begins, and after a long wait, the third snail is the first to reach the finish line. The victor is number 3. You won. She gathers the snail mucus and works it into a light yellow salve. This should suffice for the trip. She prepares her luggage, reflecting on the many years since her last excursion.
Australia.
The sun is relentless there. I should probably bring a larger hat. Still, I have a fair deal of lubricant remaining. Oh, and there's this too. She looks at the little box. Within it lies the gleaming gold medal with the dent on the one side. The flowers, applause, cheers, lubricant, the golden sun, and 1,000 shadows. She gently kisses the dented edge of the medal. Good night, my friend. And I guess that gold medal. Alright, and that is the end of that story. I have to say this, that is literally the most tragic story I have ever seen or narrated and read from that one. From Bright Star that trained day and night, who pushed back her friends, sacrificed everything. And then a war happened, she got bombed, lost her leg, and now she was faced with a life of being I don't want to say a cripple, but she's a handicap. And it was harder. And all she knows is how to do a full ritual. All her life. She has no job, no nothing else. And she can't even do it. Any job, and honestly. All she does is this. And I guess she kind of take things for granted at the time. Her rifle being her only friend that she has. And Flutterpage is that one little nudge of that support. Who always visits her. Probably the only child that visits her and gives her what she needed to have something for her leg. Yeah. No wonder the piano plays like this, to be honest. Like, why is it like this here? Piano playing like this. It's sad and melancholic. I guess you could call it that. Shit. I even teared up when I read that. I kept reading. I was almost crying there, and it is an unfortunate thing to happen to Willow. And it will stay with her for all eternity. Until she dies of old age. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video as well. So thank you all for watching this video, and like I said, enjoy the video. And if you did enjoy this video, please give this video a like, a dislike. Any comments would be helpful. If you have some stories to share that talks about the character, maybe, that if the same thing happens as Willow, it's okay if you want to speak about it. It's alright if you don't trust, if you don't, just want to say anything about it. Like the video if you could relate to me, if you could relate to the character about this tragic thing that happened. And if you got any, if you're new to the channel, please click this. You can click the like button, and you can click the subscribe button if you wish to support my channel. If you enjoyed my narration, if you enjoyed my comments, if you enjoyed my content, my videos, all the above, you know. It would be awesome if you checked out my channel, checked out my videos, and please tell me your thoughts on each and every single one of these videos. Like them if you want. It'd be greatly appreciated. So, it will be a few days until Flutterpage comes out, and I believe I might pull for it. Now, I do hope, and I kept seeing some things while I was looking into the story, and I will be going back into chapter 8 sometime, but unfortunately, I think after the event may be over, I guess a new chapter might be announcing soon, because there is a chapter 9, and it's going to be a bit different, because I do like the characters in it. And yeah. So, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the new videos. Peace out, and have an awesome weekend.